ProWrestlingSheet.com.
Welcome, everybody, to another Collider Body Slam Raw recap. I am one of your hosts here, John Rocha. How are you, everybody? It is my birthday. I didn't
didn't realize today's your birthday.
It's okay. I didn't even take the day off because I'm like, there's no way I'm missing this Raw recap.
Well, happy
today.
birthday, first of
Thank
all.
you.
I know I said it a few times over the weekend, but happy birthday.
I appreciate it, Ryan. Thank you so much. And that is the CEO of Pro Wrestling Sheet, the man I enjoy doing these recaps with, the other host of this show, Ryan Satin. How are you, man?
I am tired. What a whirlwind it's been the past, 12 hours or whatever.
Well, even besides the Roman thing,
True.
You had a fantastic interview with Eva Marie, which you can see on the Pro Wrestling Sheet.
Thank you.
Which is fantastic. Eva's had dude, listen, I'll tell you something. Some of you may have been had issues with Eva in the past. I'm one of those people that was like, well, is she really that good? Is she? When you talk to her in person, you see the fire in her eyes about the business, and you really capture that, Ryan. It's a fantastic interview. If you want a whole new side, you want to see a whole new side of Eva Marie, watch that interview Ryan did.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I really, I don't do a lot of interviews because, I don't know, I try to focus on one thing that I'm good at. I'll do the news. Not like I'm not good at other things, but I try and just focus on the news 24/7. And so now that I'm here with Collider, I really do want to do more interviews like that. And I try not to have it be as a boring. I try to make it as conversational as possible, and so I'm glad that you enjoyed it. She seemed happy with it. Other people seem happy with it so far, so that makes me happy because I really want to do more interviews like this. It was nice being in the big studio, having multiple cameras doing everything. It looked all fancy, it was really cool. But beyond that, I was busy on that. I knew that I was going to be up late transcribing the interview so I could get it up today. And I went and take a shower, and right as Raw was starting, sometimes I'll miss the opening promo because I'm taking a shower real quick before Raw starts, and then I'll go back and watch it afterwards. But I'm going to the bathroom. I was going a number 2, and all of a sudden I got 10 text messages. My phone just starts blowing up. Everyone going holy shit, oh my God, what's happening? Ryan, are you watching this? And I'm just what's happening? And I rush to my computer, I start watching, I catch up everything, and I'm just I'm whoa. So I bust into work mode. I'm writing things. Luckily James was there to help me, James McKenna, and he wrote something as well. But there was so much going on last night to cover. I mean, there was everyone reacting to what he said. The backstage video that WWE.com shared afterwards, which you guys should most certainly go check out. It's on the ProWrestlingSheet.com website, and it's just it's so emotional to seeing the whole entire roster kind of. They weren't aware of what was happening. They didn't know that he was making this announcement. They all learned when the rest of the world learned, pretty much, for the most part, from what I've been told. So they all just kind of came to gorilla. I mean, you can hear in that opening promo, I mean, literally the crowd's going crazy like they do for Roman back, booing, cheering, or whatever. And the second he says, leukemia's back, it's just dead silence, And I think it was, from what I've been told, it was a similar vibe backstage where it got silent backstage, and then in the video, everyone's, going around supporting him. And then there's so many things happening around this story. It's probably the biggest wrestling story of the most certainly of 2018. It's the biggest wrestling story, if not the past 5 years, because of how long Roman Reigns, how long they have worked to get Roman Reigns in the position he currently is in right now. And the fact that it's just being pulled away right after this years-long storyline arc, it's insane. It's unheard of in wrestling where we don't. This is nothing that happens very often where we're shocked like that.
Yeah, and I would compare it to the Daniel Bryan and Finn Balor situation where they both had went through this long journey to get to titles, and then something happens physically to them that doesn't let them. But this is another level.
Yeah, because I was going to say that. Well, first the Finn thing you can't even compare, but the Daniel Bryan thing, at least with the Daniel Bryan thing, there was talk of Daniel Bryan being injured. You kind of. You knew he was dealing with some shit. He was dealing with injuries. This one was just so out of left field. I mean, he clearly was only telling us, tight circle. I'm not aware of how long. He was made aware beforehand, but man, it's wild. It's wild. So I was working on that, and then I wake up this morning and HLN reaches out and they wanted to have me on. So then I was dealing with that. So I had to get this coffee. Rocha was like, "You ready to record?" I was like, "No, I need to go to Starbucks real fast and get a second coffee for the day because I am I need that juice to wake me up." So So the promo itself, though, man, I mean.
dude. Oh, and I should say, for those of you who are watching, maybe you haven't watched full Raw, maybe you don't know the story.
My apologies.
No, it's all right. Roman Reigns did a promo right at the beginning of Raw, a very real promo where he talked about his leukemia coming back. I had no idea he'd had leukemia before. He said his real name and then said that 8 years ago when he was 22 is when leukemia first came for him.
Or 11 years ago.
11 years ago, sorry. He didn't have a job. He was like just about to have a baby. He was like, he didn't know where to live. Like all this kind of stuff was happening for him, and he barely got through that. And so, but now it's come back, and so he's got to relinquish the title, which WWE is going to, make some moves now here for Crown Jewel, but he's got to relinquish the title now and step away for a bit and deal with this. And for those of you who know about leukemia, you know that stuff that you can die from leukemia absolutely very quickly, or it can take a bit. And the fact that it's come back, we'll see the ferocity with which it comes back. So this promo was so fantastic and authentic. And when he was done, he walked to the top of the ramp. The Shield guys came out, gave him a hug. They were all in tears, Rollins and Ambrose, and they did the Shield thing at the end, which was really emotional. But the fans, you're right. The fans at first were booing Reigns, doing this good. Even when he said leukemia, it got quiet. But then you could hear a fan in the audio say, "You still suck," right? Because people just thought,
"Fuck that guy."
But people, I think, just thought that it was an angle, right? Because sometimes people aren't thinking and they're caught up in the fervor. Lord knows I've been guilty of that. And
so even Vinny here, Collider, he told me, he's like, my first thought was like, is this a work?
Right.
But then he was like, they wouldn't go that far. And also, speaking of Vinny, he put up an article. He wrote a long he reflected on last night's Raw and did a full write-up on it for Collider.com. It's on the Wrestling Sheet Facebook page. We linked to it on there. But basically, he was just so caught up with emotion last night after watching Raw. He said he just needed to get it out, and so he just started writing, and then they put it up on Collider this morning, and he had some poignant thoughts there. So awesome. So go check that out.
I can't wait to read that. Yeah. But so overall, the promo I thought was very moving and really well said, but you don't know how much of that is scripted. You never know how much of that is scripted.
That stuff's not scripted.
Edge did his promo. It was incredible.
Yeah, none of those retirement speeches like that. Well, it's not a retirement speech necessarily. But those types of speeches are generally just like, hey, go speak from the heart. Here's our microphone. Go do your thing out there type stuff. So, kind of like I said a minute ago with the Daniel Bryan thing, the Daniel Bryan thing was really sad, because you saw someone who wrestling was his passion.
Yeah, he loved his business.
He loved it, and he couldn't do it anymore. And thank God that changed. But when you look at something like this with Roman Reigns, like you just said, it's not necessarily just like can't wrestle. It's like life or death.
Yep.
It's someone who could actually die.
Yeah.
And this is someone who has given a lot to entertain you, who, whether you liked him or you hated him, he worked for you.
Yeah.
He really, obviously, he worked for himself to get money and to support his family. But at the end of the day, like, that dude was a workhorse, and he was always on the grind, doing whatever he could to entertain people, to be there for others, to do Make-A-Wish things, to go to children's hospitals, to do all that kind of stuff beyond outside of the ring. So I think for me, this one really, really hit me harder than others' retirement speeches, where it's been because of injury and stuff like that. Anyone who's known anyone that's gone through cancer and any kind of cancer, you know how hard it is.
Yeah.
You know what it can do to people. You know how rough it is,
Yeah.
So...
Yeah, I lost my dad to cancer in 2008, so I get it. It was a 2-year battle, and it's the worst.
It's the worst. Yeah, I lost my grandma to cancer, and my step grandma, but when I was younger, and it's rough.
Yeah.
It's really rough, and so I think this one, more than all the others, really I cried a little bit while watching it, and I definitely didn't do that with injuries and stuff, retirement, announcements. So I was sad, real sad. I was fucking real sad when it came to Daniel Bryan, because he was one of my favorite wrestlers, but is one of my favorite wrestlers still. But man, this whole thing with Roman, and just to see Seth so broken up on the stage,
man, that was real.
It's so real, and you and I, we've been discussing on here for the past few weeks, about the Shield,
and
how we didn't care about it, we didn't want the Shield reunion, but now, looking back on it, it's like, thank God we got that.
Yeah, and I wonder how, and this is the next question for me, I wonder how much of this diagnosis they knew ahead of time. And I don't mean, of course, they all probably knew he had leukemia, but when did they know it was coming back?
Like, I don't think they all knew he had leukemia.
Right? They didn't know he had leukemia?
I don't think they knew he had leukemia.
What? The WWE did not know?
I mean, maybe, but if it was in remission, that's not like that's a thing that would show up in physicals, would it?
No, but you'd have to make there's a history, a medical history you have to have so that the doctor knows how to treat you if any injury or any situation happens and what medication to give you and not give you.
I guess, but I don't think Vince and Stephanie and Triple H would have to know that, would they?
I don't know.
I feel like that's I feel like that's a patient-doctor confidentiality thing. No,
if you're applying for a
physical job,
you've got to especially a physical job with blood and whatever, you could be injured in any way, shape, or form, then you got to know that going into the situation.
I mean, maybe
I don't think the other wrestlers probably knew.
No, definitely not the wrestlers,
right.
But I mean, maybe the top. It's possible that the people at the top, the Vince, Triple H, and Stephanie knew.
I'd be surprised
that it was something that was in remission.
Well, and not just because they're employers, Ryan. I think also because they're friends. Like Rock,
I would think it's more for employer. No, I would think it would be more for the employer status. Because if it's in remission, that's not something you're gonna go tell everybody. Just as right?
No, I don't know because he's isn't he The Rock's cousin?
They're
or
related.
Nephew?
Yeah, they're related. Yeah.
So that's a wrestling family that Triple H, all of them know. Vince knows. So so maybe that's they knew about it just from conversations with the kid or whatever.
I mean, it's very well possible. I mentioned the HLN interview this morning, and I fucked up on one small part of it, but not like in a huge error, but when he was. He did an interview back in the day.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sorry. It was mentioned in an article back in 2015, I want to say. Mm-hmm. It was an interview done with a former player that he was on a team with. I think it was in college.
Okay.
And it talked about, or maybe in the NFL. It talked about where he got drafted to the NFL.
Yeah, right.
But then in the physical, he didn't pass his physicals. And then that's when he left. Mm-hmm. And then a few years later, he went to the CFL.
Right. And
then he left that and he went to WWE, right? So the player and the thing, there was some interview basically where it said that it was due to the physical thing was due to an undisclosed illness that he didn't talk about. And apparently, I saw something on Twitter. I gotta go find it again, but I saw something on Twitter where the reporter who did that said that the other player told him that it was leukemia, and then he reached out to Roman Reigns for comment. And he didn't want to talk about it, and so he just wrote undisclosed illness in the article.
Interesting.
So I really don't think a ton of people knew that this was something he was dealing with. I mean, even the day of yesterday, there was rumors all over social media that he was injured. Yeah, so I mean, it's clearly not an injury.
Right.
It's clearly something beyond that. So obviously there was a tight circle around this. I would imagine it would be like the guys he travels with, like the R-Truth and,
but I mean,
and
for
the Shield.
storyline and booking purposes, do you think they knew a couple weeks ahead of time?
No.
Okay.
No, I really don't, because I think people would have known. I mean, it would have gotten out. I mean, maybe Vince in his head.
Right.
But in my opinion, I'm guessing he probably started feeling sick again recently. Asked to go to the doctor. They told him, and he was like, "Man, I got to go deal with this."
Because I wonder if they were going to do this earlier. And
the Shield turn that's at the end?
No, the him stepping down and retiring, stepping down to deal with this. If they're going to do this earlier, but the whole Saudi Arabia crown jewel thing kind of got in the way, and they would have delayed it.
I think it was a very sudden thing.
Okay.
I think that it was a sudden thing, and they were like, "What are we going to do?"
Okay.
And then Rome's like, "I got to go home.
Yeah.
I don't care about this $40 million pay-per-view. I got to go home.
Right.
I'm sick.
Okay.
I could die. You know. So I think I really think it was a very rushed thing.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
All right. Afterwards, if you want to go online, you can see him going in the back and being hugged and talked with by everyone, pretty much just in the back there. I didn't know he had such a strong connection with Titus O'Neil. That was interesting to watch, and seeing everybody hug him, and Triple H take extra time with him. And who was the guy at the end? That's the guy that's in charge of everybody.
Was it Adam Pearce?
Yeah,
at the
Adam
end?
Pearce. Yeah, I think it was Adam Pearce put his arm around him. So if you want to see some real authentic reactions from Roman or Joe, you can watch it there in that segment if you find it online on YouTube.
Also, when they came back from commercial.
Yeah.
And it was Michael Cole right. and Corey and Renee just broken up, in tears, talking about how these are real people.
Yep.
And it's that line isn't broken very often. That wall isn't broken very often on television. Where even when it's like a retirement retirement speech. it's not often where like they'll talk about how it was emotional, but man, they were crying. You know, I mean, like it was a real moment. I mean, for being a show that even though adults watch it, for being largely for children, it's obviously younger adults too.
Yeah.
You don't see real shit like that very often. No. I mean, that was real human emotion. Mm-hmm. That was friends caring about friends and just learning that their friend could die. Yeah, and it's like that's some heavy stuff for a television show. I mean, I was not surprised that they did it, but I was surprised they did it at the top of the show. Well, and I get why they did it because of how the show ended. But I mean, it was hard to watch. Yeah, it was hard to keep watching and enjoy what you're watching, knowing that. I mean, it obviously is not on the level of Owen Hart, but similar in the fact that like these guys are dealing with heavy shit right now. Like these guys, one of their good friends is dealing with something very serious, and now they have to go out there and entertain again. And it just once again shows you how crazy how wild the world of wrestling is.
Yeah, and I don't know. I think you brought it up earlier, and I know we have to get to the rest of Raw, but like I know you brought it up earlier. This idea of like, have you ever seen this? I don't know if I've ever seen a wrestler of note, real note, and fame and celebrity have to walk away from the game to deal with cancer. I don't recall that.
Well, like, and I was trying to think of like anyone. No, I could no, but I was also trying to think of anyone who just. Who the show was largely built around for years, suddenly just like that having to leave. And I couldn't think, what was it? Maybe like a Stone Cold Steve Austin? Like Stone Cold just kind of left, right? After WrestleMania.
Right.
But also with WrestleMania, you get that restart right after. It's not like right in the middle of a season, Like it's not right in the midst of things. And so, I couldn't think of anyone where they were just gone. Like where they were just like, I'm gone. Like, I'm sorry. I know past 4 WrestleManias, I've been the face of it. I'm not going to be the face of it. And now there's going to be a new face. And what's crazy to me is like the biggest brass ring is now sitting there.
Yeah.
I mean, this leaves, look at like as everything with Roman's terrible, heartbreaking. Like, but man, like going back to the wrestling side of things, like removing Roman Reigns from the WWE picture.
Yeah.
I don't even know what that looks like going forward. I mean, this is a huge shift in programming.
Well, maybe we should do an unusual kind of recap here, Ryan, and just jump to the main points of this situation.
That's fine, because honestly, it's hard to even talk about some of the other little minor things.
Yeah, let's just jump to that. Okay, so we had Paul Heyman come out and do his promo, basically adjusting the main event of Crown Jewel. Still not saying Saudi Arabia.
Nope. And Braun Strowman even said, "I'm gonna kick your ass all over Crown Jewel,"
Crown Jewel,
which sounded so weird. Like, wait, that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, right. Crown Jewel, South Dakota. Where is that? so he goes, and so Heyman basically pitches out this idea that it's going to be Lesnar versus Strowman now, and of course he gives a lot of props to Reigns and everything like that. Strowman comes out, says he's going to do that, kick his butt all over Crown Jewel, and then says that when Roman comes back, he gets an automatic title shot for the title once he beats Lesnar. Which you can't grant title shots.
You can't.
Yeah, only Vince does, or Stephanie.
That you haven't even you haven't even won yet. Right. But beyond that, I loved that part.
Oh yeah,
because it was clearly the shift right there.
Yeah,
that was where it was like, oh, Braun's gonna be the guy now.
Yeah,
Braun, they're gonna go wild with Braun now because there's nothing stopping that.
Yeah, I guess so.
I mean, he came out and did such a face thing, like I'm gonna give Roman Reigns a title shot. They're gonna get these hands, and he even did it in a way that was so much more amped up than he had done it in the past.
Well, this is why I was asking you if this whole thing was already set up a week or two ago, because Drew McIntyre and them having that kind of, and Ziggler having that issue with Strowman last week. It set up a face turn for Strowman.
I think that they were going to turn Dean Ambrose. I think they were going to turn Dean Ambrose.
Okay.
But I think they just had to speed it up.
Okay.
That's my 100%. Yeah. Steven set it up so much, and during the, beatdown at the end of the show.
Yeah.
Dean was clearly yelling about last week and saying, talking about the lunatic time stuff. Yeah. So my guess is that it would have probably happened at Crown Jewel.
Right.
Is that they would have probably had to happen at Crown Jewel, but they had to speed it up, a little. Because what?
Right.
Was there even a tag title match yet at Crown Jewel?
I don't know if they'd announced anything yet.
I bet you that had to have been what it was going to be.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be 3. We mentioned that it was going to be 3-on-3. It was going to be Strowman and Ziggler and McIntyre.
Well, Strowman was in the main event, though.
Yeah, I don't know how they're going to work it, but it felt like they were building to that.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
I mean,
I very much felt like they were going to have that tag match. So it makes sense that they just speed it up a few weeks.
Yeah, and you had McIntyre come out and do the Claymore on Strowman, which of course led to later Strowman coming out and interrupting the match between Ziggler and McIntyre versus Ambrose and Rollins. This whole thing now, they had, like you said, Big Brass Ring is sitting there. Their main face now is gone. And what do you do here? You have Strowman. You also have now, with the heel turn, Rollins. Even more so, how long can you have Rollins battle with Ambrose for this IC title and delay Rollins' natural ascent to the title while Strowman and McIntyre have that? Like, is McIntyre going to get the belt?
See, I disagree. I feel like Rollins already had his time in the spotlight.
What?
Not like he should go away.
Okay.
But
you think he's not going to get a shot at the title? Like the main title?
Braun Strowman, baby. Like, Braun Strowman was going to be... Braun Strowman was getting the biggest reaction out of everybody on the roster, and clearly they halted that to not show the fact that he's getting cheered more than Roman Reigns, who they've been building the company around for the past 4 or 5 years. So... no, now that he doesn't have that Roman Reigns blockade, no, I think they clearly are going in the direction of Braun Strowman being the guy.
So you see Strowman beating Lesnar. And you don't see McIntyre interfering at Crown Jewel?
I see Braun Strowman winning at Crown Jewel.
Okay. And then
Dolph and Drew beat him up after the fact.
Okay.
And then Braun feuds with Dolph and McIntyre for a few weeks or for a few months.
What does Lesnar do? Just go back go to UFC?
Go back to the UFC.
Yeah. Would you want to see McIntyre get thrown into this to replace Reigns into a triple threat?
Oh, I would love it.
Yeah,
I would love that.
I wonder if they'll do that.
Because I feel like they're gonna have to get the tag team titles back now. Because obviously
they don't have them now.
No, but I'm gonna get them back because clearly Seth and Dean can't have them.
Well, they can't. Well, they could. We've seen that happen. Team Hell No fought the whole time while they were having the belts.
This is a bit beyond Team Hell No. Those were like arguments and
but we've seen that happen in
but this is like a blood feud. Usually it's like guys like MVP and Matt Hardy who are like cheerily, not cheerily, but they got the whole MVP, back and forth thing. Right, yeah, throwback there. I like that Best of 7 series. But no, this is too extreme. They can't still be tag team champions ever, can they?
But look at you talking about like this. That's drama. That's going to make people watch. They're absolutely going to keep them with the belts because you don't know what's going to happen match to match. And even if they win, you don't know if Rollins is going to like beat up Ambrose afterwards or Ambrose is going to beat up Rollins. Imagine doing that. Imagine fighting side by side with a tag team partner who you don't know is going to 1 second put his finisher on you or put the finisher on the opponents. Because remember, he rolled the referee back into the ring after he took the belt away from Ziggler, who was going to use it as a foreign object against Rollins. So that tells you he has an interest in being a champion. Now he's a tag team champion. And then he turned on Rollins, and it was a good turn. It was a great turn. Good God. And the fans' reaction, Ryan, People are like thinking this is real. Like people are looking at it. People of adult age were sitting there going, "Why is this happening?" And they're crying. And I'm like, "What is going on?"
The lady who was standing there,
she's like, "Why?"
That was the best. Yeah. So well done.
Yeah.
I am very much wondering where, like, I'm just wondering where they go. Like, I'm like, you almost switched me, but I feel like no, they have to continue on with Braun being the guy. Last night I was talking about the turn, and I was saying that how much I liked it. I was saying that it seemed like the perfect. To me, it seemed like the perfect time to pull the trigger on this. Everyone's been wanting heel Dean for a long time. Outside of the Shield, where he can be the sick person, sick man, and he can do all the kind of stuff that people remembered, where he was like demented from his indie days and stuff. And while watching last night, actually while watching back today, because not last night, while rewatching today, that promo where Seth and Dean were talking in the backstage area beforehand, to me means so much more now because Dean says something along the lines of, like, when you're super emotional and you don't know what to do and your back is up against the wall, you do what you've always done, like what you know best. And I was like, that's gonna be his reasoning right there. That's what he knows best is being alone. He knows that he was in an emotional moment and that he realized that like it's all on him. He doesn't need to be a thing anymore. Like there's no Roman. Seth sucked, and I'm interested to see how they explain that because I think that's where they're gonna go with it. But I also saw someone, Tom Castiello, who worked for WWE. He was a writer for WWE. We were back and forth tweeting on Twitter last night, and he was basically saying like, I love him because he since he used to work there, he does deep dives into his head of like, you know, the explaining of things. You know, people think that people in creative don't think that much about it, but it's really like one or two people behind the scenes who change the deep thoughts of the writers. You know, and he was basically saying that he hopes it's not necessarily Dean saying, I was waiting for the time when Seth would actually not be expecting it. Like the one time, because that's what I said. I was like, I hope that's where they're going with it, is that he goes, no, I did that. I pushed the ref in. I did that because I was waiting for the one time when Seth finally had his guard down, when Seth finally didn't have that ounce of, you know, doubt in his head about me, where he finds out we're friends again, we're boys, we're champions again. No, we're not. You fucked us. Right. Fuck off. You know. But he was saying, Tom was basically saying that he hopes they don't do that. That he hopes it's more of a spontaneous thing, where in that moment where he saw Seth Rollins being happy, he realized he didn't want to see Seth Rollins happy. That this was like a spontaneous thing where it all finally clicked in his head, and that he's just crazy. And so he did what he said. You know, he gave Seth Rollins what he wanted, the lunatic.
Well, yes, I could see that. But I think when you watch him talking to Rollins the whole time, you watch your mouth, you make your jokes. How funny am I now? You know, basically Joe Pesci thing from Goodfellas, basically.
Am I a clown to you?
Yeah, am I a clown to you? He went so far. And when he stripped the mat, that was it. When he stripped the mat, that's usually the sign.
That's
It's like...
That really is... That has become, a sign.
It's like there's no going back from here.
Yeah.
Right? At least for a while, there's no going back. Because if he was to show up, like, on Monday and be like, hey, sorry about that. I just lost my head.
I'll be furious.
Yeah,
I'll be fucking furious.
Of course. So you want him to still be mad and have Rollins play the face of like, well, what? Our friend just went out with leukemia. How could you do this? Like, what is wrong with you? And Dean just be like, I don't care. I want what I want. And I've waited too long. I've sat behind too many of you guys, or both of you guys for too long. The fans don't believe in me. I got to go do blah, blah, blah. And so he can get more and more heel while still having like half of a foot in the face area because he's a tag team champ with Rollins. So it's smart if they play this tightrope well. If they have him walk it really well, I think the fans will go crazy for it.
Yeah, that's what Tom and I were basically saying. That honestly, this is one of those times where, like, WWE has a huge opportunity.
Yes, they do.
To
by accident,
to fill a storyline with so much nuance, to be an actual great all-time storyline.
Yes,
but history. If you look at history, every time they've been up to the bat, every time they've been in the batter's box for a scenario like this, where they have the opportunity to make a great storyline out of it by accident, not by something they did on their own, they typically fail. They typically strike out. So I really, really hope that they don't strike out, because as it sits with Raw right now, things have really been swapped up by the end of Raw. I mean, we've got, it looks to me at least, and maybe you still see Drew becoming the face, but to me, it looks like we've got three faces at the top of the Raw.
I don't see Drew McIntyre becoming a face.
Okay.
Yeah, I know.
But I feel like right now we've got three faces at the top of the card on the Raw side of things to help, and it's kind of more fresh than it's been, and that is Braun Strowman, Seth Rollins, and Elias.
Yeah,
which
Elias,
we haven't talked about Elias'
we're just going to talk about next.
And then on the other side of things, we've got Drew McIntyre, Dean Ambrose, Dolph Ziggler, and Bobby Lashley. Which That's not a bad top of your card and much more fresh than it's kind of felt in the past few months.
Well, we'll see if Bobby Lashley, how long that heel thing lasts.
Well, okay,
Because
I feel like that's one of the early things that we should
talk about.
Did you not like that match?
I thought that I didn't like the match. I thought it was a good match, actually, with him and Balor. I just thought the ending was, what is this? Why are you building Lashley up and having him lose, and then Leo and all, and the way he lost too on a freaking roll-up, it was just such a joke for how powerful and strong he'd been through the whole match. The thing is, you can do these kinds of losses, but you got to build in within the match. You've got to build to that loss, and I felt like he was dominating so much of that match that it was complete and utter bullshit that he got a roll-up L hung up on him by Balor, who's nowhere near as powerful as Bobby Lashley is to kick out of a pin. So to me, it didn't work. He didn't work it well enough to make it believable that he get the roll-up pin like that. And
well, it is hard with a roll-up pin in general.
Yeah.
It's hard to sell a roll-up pin as being a believable thing,
Yeah.
especially like you said, when the match has been largely dominated by someone else.
Right.
Even the kind of roll-up pin that, like, some of the small package,
That's what I mean.
is a lot more believable than that, like,
Yeah, 'cause
just
at least you're holding
the
the
basic
person.
roll-up from behind where you just
Right.
got your hand in their crotch, you
Right.
know. So I get your point there, but at the same time, I almost wonder if WWE has seen the reaction of Becky Lynch, and we were kind of talking about this last week, where they're like, hey, maybe we should give Finn a little bit of edge. Because I didn't notice super smiley Finn this week.
Yeah.
I noticed a little bit more serious, and they're giving him a little bit of help with a win over Lashley. And I'm kind of hoping that this is the start of a little bit more serious of a thing for Finn, because obviously they need a new top guy, and Finn is one of the largest merch pushers they have. So Finn is someone that, you know, guys like, girls like, everyone likes. So he is, and a former Universal Champion. So he's with Kevin Owens being injured, he's the only former Universal. Well, no, Seth Rollins Universal Champion.
I think Seth Rollins has been a Universal Champion. Yeah,
has he been?
I think so. Let's take a look while you're figuring it out.
But you know, I hope that this is leading to a little bit more serious of a push for Finn Balor, and also, you know, Bobby Lashley. I mentioned this like a month ago or so when he was on Lillian Garcia's podcast, that he said that he thinks that he would be better utilized as a heel because he could help some of the younger guys. He could be a stronger character as a heel for some of the other guys to play off of.
Right.
And I felt like that was very evident here, that he was better as like a powerhouse to kind of play off of Finn a little bit.
Yeah.
Was I wrong with Seth Rollins?
No, Seth Rollins.
He wasn't, right?
He's never been a Universal Champion.
Yeah, it's only Brock, Owens, Balor, and Roman, right?
Yeah, it's been Balor, Owens,
Goldberg. Sorry.
Lesnar, and Reigns. Yeah. Oh, wow, interesting. Okay, so it's possible.
Yeah,
it's certainly possible.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I
So
hope.
Rollins is due.
I think Finn is due, though.
You're insane. There's no way Finn. It would take a long time for Finn to climb all the way back up there to be in contention, because he's essentially mid-carder now, dude.
I don't think it'd take a long time.
You think?
No, put him in face paint a few more times. Give him some serious wins.
If Ambrose defeats Rollins and takes this IC title, that clears the path for Balor to step in there.
Agreed.
Create a program with them.
Agreed.
And then
Ambrose, I couldn't agree more.
And then Rollins could move up to the top title picture if McIntyre defeats Strowman.
Couldn't agree more.
Yeah, that's what I think may be happening down the road.
I feel like it's gonna be a while since
it is.
See Rollins as champion again, though.
The Rollins-Ambrose feud is gonna be like 6 months, probably.
At least.
Yeah.
This is gonna lead to WrestleMania. You'd think.
Probably.
You would seem like given
matches, types of matches.
Oh yeah.
Before we get to WrestleMania.
Oh
absolutely. We'll see what happens with Bobby Lashley. I'm concerned a little bit that the Leo thing worked better this week than it did last week.
I thought the same thing. I thought it was like, I wasn't as like...
turned it down a little bit.
I wasn't as annoyed by it as much as I was like, okay, this is starting to work.
Yeah, and Corey Graves helps it work.
He does.
And that's important. People don't give Corey Graves enough credit with how much he helps these storylines go along and get the fans either on board or off board these storylines. He does a really good job. Cole does his thing, and Renee's getting a lot better as a color person. Yeah, making her comments as a color analyst. I like how she's coming along.
Me too.
I still think she's the main host, but she's finding where to throw her comments in the natural flow of a 3-person booth.
And that's not an easy thing to do.
No, it isn't.
No, I mean,
It really
even in
isn't.
like when you go to a new office and you like have people like in a conversation, you're like, trying to like, it's like playing double dutch where like jump rope where you're like figuring out when you're gonna jump in, So I can only imagine that being amped by 5 million being on TV with someone screaming in your ear.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, Sasha Banks, Ruby Riott also had themselves a match here.
You loved this, didn't you?
I did. I liked the match. But
I feel you had to be pumped about Ruby Riott getting a push.
I can't even tell you how much I wanted to text you over the weekend when that picture came out of or yesterday when the six-woman tag match was announced for Evolution. I was super pissed. I had like 2 or 3 tweets that I was going to tweet at you, Ryan, after you posted it on your Twitter account and be like, you mean what's breaking news about a match we all saw coming like 2 months ago? There's nothing breaking about this bullshit. And also, I wasn't going to be mad. I was going to be more about mad WWE because it said breaking. And it should be Ruby Riott versus Sasha Banks in a no-holds-barred 30-minute, 20-minute match. That's what it should be.
I love you, but you have such high hopes sometimes.
I do. I just want to believe.
Like, we're already getting the last woman standing match at Evolution.
We are.
So,
with who? Is it?
It's Becky and Charlotte.
Oh, right. But then we have Ronda and which we'll talk about.
Ronda
and Nikki. But this, I just think, because this is essentially NXT graduates going at it.
Yes and no. Yes, it is.
Because it's going to be a boring 6-woman match, and it's going to be a boring 6-woman match.
I honestly, I feel like they could have done a lot more with Sasha and Bayley for Evolution. I think that, and Natalya. I feel like all 3 of them deserved more.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like, there's only so much time in the show.
Yeah,
there's only so much time to build up. Although I will say,
a 5-hour greatest Royal Rumble ever. You can give me a 5-hour Evolution.
Do you think that it was a little? I'm trying to think of the right word. Do you think that it was weird that they didn't have a ton of build-up to Evolution?
Yes.
Or that they didn't end the show on an angle towards Evolution? Do you think that it was okay because they had a special right after that was all about Evolution?
Yeah. See, so many fans are upset online and in the chat boards.
That's an evergreen statement. So many fans are upset online.
Fair enough. But about Evolution, and I love this. I love that fans are mad at the WWE for the terrible programming they're doing of WWE Evolution.
I love it. It's going to go from give divas a chance to give women a chance.
Right. 5 years ago, those male fans wouldn't have been clamoring for something like this. And the fact that they're now on boards going, this is bullshit. This should be the lineup. This should be the matches. These should be the That's an interesting thing to me. I love that that's happening. And the WWE somehow, for whatever reason, man, I don't get it. I don't know if it's inbred misogyny or whatever's going on there, dude, but it really bothers me how they fumbled this. How is Stephanie McMahon they're in the thought process, in the creative process? How is she not? Her and Triple H like built that women's division in NXT. How are they not forcing a better card to happen at this pay-per-view? It's mind-blowing to me. It's such a wasted opportunity. This is NWO levels of wasted opportunity.
I think at the end of the day, you can't look at it. There's only one answer. There's one word answer. And what the one word name answer is. It's Vince, dude. Like, Vince McMahon. 2 words. Vince McMahon. Yeah. Like, there's no, it's not like creative hasn't tried. It's not like other who haven't tried. There's one person who makes the decisions in that company, and people seem to forget that. You always hear creative, the creative team this, the creative team that. No. It's Vince McMahon. It's Vince. It's only Vince. These are Vince decisions. These are who Vince wants. This is Vince McMahon's company at the end of the day, right. So fuck anything that happened at NXT, even though he's involved in that too. Yeah. Even though he's never watched an episode of NXT. He's involved in NXT as well. Yeah. Like, Vince McMahon is involved in every facet of the company. So So at the end of the day, things like that aren't gonna change. So Vince McMahon isn't the number one decision maker.
I rewatched the Sasha Banks Bayley match from TakeOver, the one where Bayley won the match.
Great match.
Yeah, that match I go back to every few months. It is one of the greatest matches I've ever seen in my life. Period. And to watch that and to see where they're at.
Which one?
The one where Bayley won the title, not the Iron Woman match. The one before.
Is that the one with Izzy when Sasha takes the headband off?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
it's classic.
Yeah.
But both those matches are great.
Exactly. But the frustrating part of it all is to see where they were and see how much promise there was for both of them, and then where they're at now, even at Evolution. And people were saying, "Where's Sasha in the picture?" In the main picture, the first picture was released. You didn't even see Sasha.
Well, I really do think that it was I think the 6-woman tag definitely has to do with her injury. With her being injured recently, I think that's why they held off on announcing things. I think that's why we had to wait. That's my guess. That's not with inside info. Yeah, she wrestled, but I think that she
took some hard hits too.
Yeah, that's actually a good point. She did wrestle this whole match by herself.
She took some hard hits
match.
from Riot.
It's a good point. But maybe not now.
Yeah.
But I think that's why she was on the poster and stuff. Like, I think that they weren't sure if she was going to be there and stuff. So I think that's my guess. But yes, I agree with you. Yeah. I think that, man, Sasha and Bayley, Sasha for them a lot more than Bayley, because Sasha has been a huge success on the main roster as well.
People love Sasha.
And Natalya for holding it down this whole time. I do think deserved a little better. I mean, I in my opinion, I would have liked to have seen a more interesting card, and I would have liked to have seen the go home angle being for the women. Yeah. You know, I mean, I get that Dean was a huge thing. You couldn't have ended with everything else.
Of course not.
So it did put them in an awkward position.
It was a smart move in the end in terms of the reaction from the fans and what people are talking about now. But in the long run, it just feels like, they're kind of getting the short end of the stick.
I mean, do you think it's
this weekend?
Do you think it would have been?
It's this weekend, Ryan.
Yeah. I mean, question. Do you think it would have been better,
Ryan? Yeah.
Do you think it would have been better to wait a week to do the Ambrose turn? Because I do think you have to capitalize on that moment.
Right. And
you can't do that in the middle of the show.
Right. And Evolution is going to rule Raw and SmackDown next week after the pay-per-view.
And there is still SmackDown, so they could technically end the
go
home
could be with Charlotte
and Becky. Yeah. So I guess it's actually, you know what? It's fine. we talked it out. We've worked it out, everyone. Right. We've circled around it. We've taken a few notes. We've jotted a few things down, and we've decided it's okay.
Well, you had the Bella Twins having the contract signing with Ronda. Did you like this whole back and forth between them?
I loved it.
Yeah.
We had mentioned how they had to go there. They had to. They didn't mention. They didn't go. They stuck the knife in, but they didn't turn it on Ronda at least, because they didn't want to put her down. They didn't want to because I think the Bella Twins, in my opinion, they're similar to the Miz and stuff like that, where they're over with the people they're going to be over with, and something like that isn't going to ruin them. Like Ronda saying that, it's not like anyone's never said that about them, Right. So I think to the WWE audience, it doesn't necessarily hurt their character or anything like that. I could see how going too hard on Ronda Rousey's losses in UFC.
Listen, she scares me. If you're going to work a program with Ronda, damn, man, you start getting personal. She's still new to the business, man. She's, it could all go wrong.
I listened to Alexa Bliss on Lillian Garcia's podcast this week. She talked about how it's a rough experience. She talked about it a little bit. She said something along the lines of it's different. We are trained a certain way. She's still new in the business. So she was like, every part of my body was sore the next day. It's a different experience wrestling someone like her.
Yeah. She knows how to hurt you. For real. For reals.
But I loved this segment starting off with Nikki and
that was great.
First the punches.
Oh, yeah.
First Nikki doing the punches. Because I'll be honest with you, I forgot how much I missed the heel Bella Twins.
Yeah, the heel Bella was great.
The loser and all that kind of stuff. I liked that. I always liked that. And so it was the cockiness of Nikki. Because her whole title run, she wasn't necessarily the heel. She was kind of positioned as a face.
She went back and forth through the title run.
Yeah, she went back and forth.
Because she had it for a long time.
Yeah, she had the shades of gray thing too. Where some people cheered her, some people booed her. Right. She still was taking her top off, not taking it off fully. You know what I mean? She did that whole shirt tear thing.
The Hogan thing.
Yeah. So, I loved seeing that back. I loved when Ronda came in the ring and then the Bella Twins dipped out real fast and then came in and just laid into her with the your mom stuff. Your mom's disappointed in you and you said you were gonna do this, you didn't do it. I thought that stuff was great. And then Nikki slapping Ronda was such a good moment.
Holy crap.
Good moment. You're just oh damn.
No. Because that was a real slap.
It looked good.
Yeah. Because Ronda has the best mean face like ever.
Well,
Like,
I'm sure that Ronda said, "Just smack me."
Yeah, I'm sure she did.
I can take your slap. I can take your slap in the face.
and then she's like, "I'm gonna end you," and I was just like, so that was a great back and they insulting her, like saying your mom's already ashamed of you. I was like, wow, they really went there. I thought they were gonna go deeper. I thought they were going to be like, yeah, we didn't go out in the woods and like disappear for a week and shit in the woods. And
I thought they were. They should have. They should have.
If they come out with a Holly Holmes shirt and Amanda Nunes, that
oh my god, that would have been
genius. That's how you do it, man. That's how you do it.
That would have been so good. I know, man.
And by the way,
I hope they do that on social media before the show.
That'd be genius.
They should totally do that.
Will you hire me?
Bella Twins, the Bella Twins social media manager, I should say.
Yeah,
you got to do that.
Yeah,
because oh my god, that'd be so much heat. That'd be great.
They should interview Holly Holm for a segment on
the
Bella,
YouTube
on
channel.
The YouTube channel. That would be genius. What was it like?
Oh my god! Imagine a training segment with Nikki and one of them. Oh my god!
It works for both of them.
Been good.
It works for both of them because Holly could use the celebrity a little bit more, and the Bella Twins could dig the knife in a little bit.
There's no way Ronda would have been cool with that, but God, that would have been awesome.
Yeah, but they're cool with bringing up Cena.
No, I mean the training segment and filming segments.
That would be genius.
That probably would have been a little too much, but God, that would have been so good.
That would have been excellent.
That would have been good.
So she's gonna kill Nikki, right? Don't you think? Is there any way Nikki takes this belt?
No,
even
no
with
way.
Bree's help, like,
I think it was a short run. They were only coming back for Evolution. It felt like that's not. That's basically what they've said that they were back. They were coming. This comeback was to get acquainted with everyone. Everyone get acquainted with the Bella Twins again,
right?
And then to get to Evolution, so they can be part of Evolution. So, no, I don't foresee Nikki being the one to take down Ronda Rousey. I also props to Brie here, because after the slap, when I forget what Ronda said, but then when she walked out of the ring, I just liked it because Nikki was standing there looking all tough, and Brie just had this look like, oh, that was really not smart. That was really not good. And she just had that look on her face like, that wasn't good. Like, that's probably not good for both of us, you know?
I thought we were going to talk that out. You were gonna...
Exactly.
You've killed us both. You've killed us both.
I look just like you. She might mistake us for each other.
And by the way, just because I'm a terrible person, heel Bella Twins are... They show you what the Iconics aren't. There you go. I had to get my shot in there. Sorry. All right, DX.
Sorry, Aaron.
Sorry, ladies. DX addressed...
Shout out to Aaron, by the way. Like, you know, he could use your guys' positive messages out there.
What's going on there?
Well, we'll talk
his dad.
after. We'll talk after. For those of you who do listen to Best of the Rest, send a positive message to Aaron Turner. I don't have his handle right in front of me, but we've tweeted out a bunch of the show with the Best of the Rest, podcast posts and stuff. So just go give him a shout out. You know, he's dealing with some family stuff, and it would definitely be appreciated on his end.
We had to delay the show we were going to do because of that, so I want to make sure he's, but we're gonna get that going. I miss Aaron. Like, dude, I miss Aaron. I love talking to
wrestling. You guys are
boys. That guy. Yeah, we boys. Like, through wrestling, we have bonded. So we weren't always on the same page about shit.
Most of the time, aren't on the same page about shit.
Which is
even in wrestling, you guys aren't on the same page about shit.
Which is what's fun.
Yeah,
because we both push each other's buttons in a positive way, like brothers can sometimes do.
That's why I like doing this show with you myself, because Jamie and Eli, they're very much, a lot of times we have the same opinion on stuff. I mean, sometimes we vary. Eli's extreme in his opinions, but that's why I like it, is we definitely don't always have the same opinion on stuff, which is great. It's perfect for this.
And speaking of brothers, the Brothers of Destruction are back to give you another promo from another undisclosed location. This time a fake cemetery with some headstones. Okay.
Well, first we went back to the boiler room for a minute.
Why is Triple H getting to make fun of them for the boiler room? Triple H probably told him to go in the boiler room in real life, and then he's making fun of his own. I thought that was bullshit.
There's too meta right there.
Yeah, I was mad.
You can't make fun of your own bad production.
I was like, you set this shit up, now you get to make fun of it, you cock.
cock.
Anyway, but look, I thought it was. I thought DX killed it in this promo, and I actually liked this Brothers of Destruction promo better than the other ones.
Yeah, I hated Boiler Room promo part 2. I was like, oh, we're back in this beautiful boiler room.
Yeah.
Like, no. And then I like the DX promo, though. You got to feel for Shawn Michaels. He looks so lifeless. He looks so emotionless through this run right now. Like, he just doesn't want to be there, but he knows that he can't say no to this money.
Yeah.
And, like, he's just going through the motions, and it's a bummer. But, yes, the promo itself was good. I mean, when he was, talking about the X and all that kind of stuff. All that shit. Loved it. Thought it was great.
Greek word for more merch. That's new merch. That's brilliant.
Yeah. And I agree with you. The second promo from the graveyard with the tombstones, much better than the boiler room stuff. The cool angles, like the real up close, like in his face angle, almost looked like a comic book, and I had a cool comic book graphic novel vibe to it.
I agree with that completely.
That I was really into. Do you think?
Oh, I love this. Okay, yes.
Do you think it was a little bit in bad taste to have wrestlers' tombstones on the same episode with all the Roman Reigns stuff?
No, because that's a pre-taped thing, and it wasn't done like impromptu, and so to me, that's a pre-taped thing.
But isn't that more so reason why they could have let it go a week?
If he had put,
no, I know they're not really going to kill this guy.
If they had put
but they have at the top of the
Roman Reigns,
but they have at the top of the show, they have this guy saying he's going to beat this possibly this illness that can kill him, and then like I don't know. Hour later, they've got like R.I.P. Triple H and Shawn Michaels on the same episode. And I wasn't,
see what you're saying,
but I saw the discussion of it. Like me personally, it didn't bother me in any way, shape, or form. But I did see the discussion.
I just love fans that get like upset about poor taste in professional wrestling. That just cracks me the fuck up. Like, did you just show up? Did you just show up? Like they've done this all the time. I mean, they've done this all the time. Lawler to Matt Hardy and Edge and Lita and all that. Like they have traded in on real shit all the time. And Vince is one of those guys, like you said. Vince makes it very clear: no wrestler is above the business.
Yeah,
the business is what matters. The overall show is what matters. And I guarantee you, most fans not forgot, but they didn't make the connection in that because that's a separate feud.
I think you're right too.
But I get why people are sensitive. I just don't understand it.
Yes, no, I agree with you there. I don't think that the majority of the audience put that together.
Yeah,
I didn't even put that together until I started seeing it on Twitter afterwards. Till James texted me about it, a few other people as well. So I completely agree with you. It's funny. Your reaction right there reminds me of the Eva Marie thing that I put up today, where she talks about how she's got unfinished business in WWE and how she wants to return. She's talking about some of the people that she wants to wrestle still. And I had someone DM me that I'm a friend of mine, and he was like harping about how like, well, if she really wanted to show that she had unfinished business and that she was serious about this, she would have gone back to the indies and honed her craft and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, yeah. Because that's what Vince McMahon cares about when it comes to Eva Marie. Like that's why he's gonna hire her back, because she did indie spots in her time away. You know?
I asked her, I said, and this is a second shout out for the Iconics, I said, do you sense a pattern of familiarity with what the Iconics are getting pilloried about online? The fact that they do great promos and they're good heels, but their in-ring wrestling has been criticized, and I admit it, including by me. Do you feel a connection to that? And she said, yeah. Actually, no, because those girls work harder, had more experience before than I did when I walked into the business. So I think those girls are absolutely way better prepared to be wrestlers than I was.
Yeah, it makes sense.
And she said, when she said she was going to come back, I was like, well, wouldn't that be interesting to have the three of you as a stable? That would be an awesome little stable.
I like it.
And she was like, oh, so that would be fun.
The wheels definitely seem like they're in motion. Yeah.
And for anybody who's asking, she is absolutely that damn beautiful and gorgeous and sweet and very nice in person. Lord God, she's gorgeous.
Makuga came up to me right before we started recording. Josh Makuga, and he's one of the hosts on Collider Live. Oh, we've had the garbage thing all. God,
I'm sorry, Ryan. I just took it down.
Now do you want to tell this stupid story about Josh Makuga? God.
Well, we're being bigger people by having it up. We're being bigger people. Go ahead. You're getting a window into Ryan, off-camera Ryan here in the office.
Just know, people, that I one day will fucking burn that garbage people thing to the fucking ground as soon as it's like not where they're like, hey, we wasted money on that, Ryan. We're like, I'm still kind of new here, but as soon as I'm not super new here, I am 100% demolishing that garbage people thing when everyone's not here in the office late at night. It is driving me fucking crazy. Josh Makuga came to me and said, he was like, dude, that's like my number one celebrity crush. Like, I'm so jealous that you got to interview her. And I was like, bro, she was on Collider Live, the show that you're a host for. And he was like, I wasn't here yesterday. Like, no. It was literally like that Darth Vader moment where he goes like, no. He like stood at my desk doing that up at the sky, at the heavens.
She was great.
Yeah, she's great. Go check out the interview.
Yeah, definitely. Well, let's finish up with. Well, I don't want to talk about that women's.
Nope.
That was terrible.
Terrible.
Waste of all those very talented ladies.
Is there anything else we've left out that was good?
Let's talk about the Elias thing.
That's the thing.
Let's finish up with that. So, did you like this face turn? You knew it was coming. We've been clamoring for it. Obviously, the fans have been clamoring for it as well. Did you like the way it was set up? And is he going to start a program now with Corbin first?
You know, I'm okay with that because I need something else for Corbin.
Yeah.
I really did like it, actually. Okay. I thought that because he's been, you know, even though everyone cheers him, he's been the heel this whole time. Like, he talks shit on the crowd. It was nice to finally see that turned on its head a little bit, and to see, like, you know, you want to cheer for Elias.
Yes, you do.
Most people want to cheer for Elias.
The fans were cheering for him already.
Totally. Yeah. He gets cheered. Yeah. I mean, even though he's a heel, it's funny. He's like the reverse of that Shades of Grey thing on the opposite end, which we don't have a lot of people like that. We're like a heel who's getting full booed. And I guess Becky's another example of that. But Elias is a joke. He's very face-like. It's very much like, you know, doing the Rock kind of sing-along type stuff to where you want to cheer for it. And to be honest with you, at least in my opinion, they had run its course. These concerts that he had been doing, they've been starting to grow stale.
I agree with you.
So to me, it not only refreshes him finally a little bit, but also makes those segments more something worth watching because he's not putting down the crowd; he's going to be putting down his opponents. And it's to me, it's going to be reminiscent of rapping John Cena, where his songs are going to be about his opponents, but it's going to be in a way where you can cheer for it now. And I think that could be something that people really get behind because. That's not a character. Usually, like the singing guy is a heel, the Honky Tonk Man, Jeff Jarrett, stuff like that. They're heels. So it's going to be interesting to see that character in a different way. And I think Elias can pull it off.
Yeah, I agree. I'm looking forward to it. I want to see how it goes down. And I agree with you thoroughly that it was getting stale, the same thing over and over again. So now, hopefully, we'll get actual wrestling matches where a bell rings and he's consistently fighting, not just having small little moments and putting other people over. I want him to start having programs now.
Do you think that this could get him into that main event scene?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think so, too. Just like I was saying a little bit ago, you know, I think that he is one, especially now with Roman Reigns gone. He's one of the most permanent fixtures on the show.
Yep.
I mean, you can almost guarantee there's going to be an Elias segment every show.
Yeah, and he can swing face to heel, face to heel, face to heel easily. So it's not a big deal because he won't lose the fans.
It'll almost be like he gets swapped if Braun is made the top guy.
Yeah.
I feel like Elias will swap into the position previously held by Braun, where it's like, people like this guy, but we can convince people to hate this guy too. Yeah. So we'll just put him there and we'll use him where need be. We'll plug him in where we need to at the top of the card. Right. I think Elias will be in that role. Yeah. Yeah. Because I want to see it. I want to see Elias versus Seth Rollins. Well, I guess he's a face now, so let me get Seth Rollins. But I could very much see, you know, Elias against the you know, Dolph Ziggler and Drew McIntyre and all those guys. Yeah, absolutely. Dean Ambrose.
Teaming with Rollins. He could take over Ambrose's spot with Rollins and be a tag team champ with Rollins.
Interesting.
That would absolutely work.
Didn't they team once?
I think they did.
I feel like they did.
A while back.
I think they did. But anyways, I agree with you. I think that he has earned his place on that card.
Absolutely.
And this will hope, because I like that it was just like, it literally like they just literally like took a bat and just like smashed through everything that you have kind of come to know of Raw, because they have to. The top guy's gone. Things have to change. Things are going to be very different. So it was interesting to see. It was almost like a Jenga. Like they you know, one of the pieces fell, and the important one, and everything came crashing down. Now they got to build it back up, and it's interesting to see how that's going to work out.
The WWE always adapts and improvises, and so that's a you know, no matter what happens, they have to keep going. Like the show must go on constantly. They march on, and you got to give credit. You know, we bash creative a lot with some of the decisions they make, including Ben's. So you got to give them credit for being able to adapt and improvise in this situation. Actually, come out of Raw with a lot of fresh new storylines, a lot of interesting new battles between wrestlers, and see where it takes us next.
And smart, because so many people are talking about the show.
Yeah,
this week.
Exactly. That's what you want. That's what you want. Hashtag it worldwide. All right. Well, that's our Collider Body Slam Raw recap for this week. Pretty emotional stuff. Definitely, I hope I can speak for Ryan, saying we send our thoughts and prayers out to Roman, out to Joe, as he recovers from this, and he will recover from this, and hopefully we will see him in a wrestling ring down the road very soon. But either either way, let me tell you something. I'm sure they appreciate when you tweet at them, when you send them stuff, especially when they're going through stuff like this.
Well, he tweeted thanking people for doing that. He said it meant something to them. Sending the positivity definitely meant a lot to him. And your sentiments are definitely echoed on my end. I feel exactly the same way. I wish Roman Reigns nothing but the best in his recovery. As far as plugs and stuff go, I know it's a somber note right there, but you can check out. Please go check out the YouTube channel if you're listening to the audio of this. The YouTube channel is youtube.com/C/Wrestling Sheet. That's where the video of these recaps go up, Raw and Smackdown. That's where the video of Wrestling Sheet Radio goes up. That's where the interview with Natalie, Eva Marie is up. That's where all the different video content from Pro Wrestling Sheet goes up. So please go check out that. Go subscribe. Go like. Go share the story. Go share the videos. Leave comments. All that stuff really, really does help. It builds the following here. It keeps more people aware of the show. So if you're digging what we're doing here, please feel free to share it. It does help us out a lot. Also, if you're watching the video of this, make sure you go subscribe to the audio feed as well. It's Wrestling Sheet Radio on Podcast One. It's also available on iTunes, and that's where there's other additional shows like Best of the Rest with Aaron Turner and Rachel Sam Evans, which is on a brief hiatus because of everything going on with Aaron Turner. And then also Top 5 with James and Kevin. Although last week there was a little bit of an issue with that show, but I had to put it up on the weekend, so everything was okay. They didn't send it to me like they thought they did, and it was too late. But it's there. Go check it out.
A lot of drama.
A lot of drama. but go check it out. There's great content there, so please go subscribe there as well. It helps us out. Leave a review, leave a rating. Well, if you liked it, at least. Don't do it if you didn't like it. That does not help us out. So don't do it if you didn't like it. But please do it if you did. And also make sure you can check out everything that Collider's doing. Rocha can cover me there.
Yeah. Please follow us at Collider Video, of course, but also follow Pro Wrestling Sheet. Follow Collider Sports. So much sports content in there. We just had a new episode of Collider Sports Time yesterday, talking World Series, talking that spitting incident between Chris Paul and Ray John Rondo, what was happening there. And I've covered all NFL and college football stuff. The top stories had Mark Ellis and Adam Caparella, and they're joining me and Matt Nost. Find that on the YouTube channel. You can also go on the podcast channel, Collider Sports Podcast channel. Subscribe to that as well. There's more sports going on. And, of course, this Friday, there is a Schmodown match between Bibiani and I for the title. Finally, I'm getting my shot at the title again after a year and a half of having to sit on the sidelines and fight for it and constantly fail and fight for it and constantly fail. Now, finally, I've won my way to a shot at Bibiani. We'll see what happens. And if you want to watch a Schmodown today, if you're watching this enough time, we dropped the tag team match where Dan and I took on K.O. Kalinowski and that young kid, Chance Ellison. Watch that as well. All right.
Just know if you lose, you're not welcome back in here.
Son of a...
Just so you know. I just think you should know. We don't... Only champions in here, Rocha. So the Outlaw better represent for Wrestling Sheet Radio. The Outlaw better represent, son.
Ryan just gave me a dirty deeds on the mat there. on the concrete on that one. There you go. Follow me at The Rocha Says on Twitter and on Instagram. Thanks, everybody, for watching. And if you want to watch a little bit of crazy promo, you can watch Collider Live this morning. Bibiani and I went at it. So, all right. Have a great day, and we'll talk to you tomorrow on Collider Body Slam Smackdown Live Recap.
ProWrestlingSheet.com